The lack of friends means that you hear the echo of your own thoughts more clearly than most. It means that the spaces in your life, which for others are filled with chatter, plans, and the easy comfort of companionship, are instead vast and quiet. In this quiet, it is easy to draw a single, devastating conclusion, that this absence is a verdict on your worth. But what if we were to pause that conclusion? What if we were to examine this state of being not through the lens of social failure, but through the profound and timeless wisdom of philosophy? The absence of friendship is not merely a social condition, it is a philosophical crossroads, a terrain that some of the greatest minds have explored. It can be a place of desolation, yes, but it can also, if we have the courage, become a forge for a different kind of strength and a deeper, more intentional resilience. To understand what the lack of friends means, we must first understand what friendship is. And for this, there is no better guide than Aristotle. In his Nicomachean Ethics, he dedicates significant thought to philosophy of relationship, identifying three distinct types of friendship. The first is friendship of utility. We are friendly with someone because they are useful to us, a colleague, a neighbor, a business contact. The second is friendship of pleasure. We enjoy someone's company because they are amusing, share our hobbies, or are fun to be around. These are the most common forms of connection, and they are not inherently bad. They grease the wheels of social life. But they are, as Aristotle notes, inherently fragile. They dissolve the moment the utility evaporates or the pleasure fades. The coworker moves to another company, the tennis partner injures their knee, and the connection, built on a transient foundation, quietly crumbles. Then there is the third type, which Aristotle calls the friendship of the good, or the perfect friendship. This is the rarest form. It exists between people who are virtuous, who wish the good for each other for the other's own sake, and who love the good character they see in one another. This friendship is not based on what you can get, but on who you are. It is a slow-growing, sturdy tree, not a quickly sprouted and quickly wilted flower. When we speak of a lack of friends, we must ask ourselves, which kind are we lacking? The world is often full of the first two kinds. The absence of the third is not a mark of personal failure, but a reflection of its rarity. It is something to be sought with patience and discernment, not something whose absence should be a source of perpetual shame. The lack of casual pleasure-based friends might mean you are an introvert, or that your interests are niche, or simply that you have not found your tribe. But the longing for a true, Aristotelian friendship of the good is a longing for something profound and sacred, a mirror that shows us our best self. So, the lack of friends can mean that you have not yet found, or have not yet built, those rare, virtuous connections. But it can also mean something else, something that Stoic philosophy can illuminate with piercing clarity. The Stoics, like Epictetus and Seneca, taught that our suffering comes not from events themselves, but from our judgments about them. To be alone is a circumstance. To feel lonely, isolated, and deficient because of that aloneness is a judgment. Epictetus, born a slave, understood that much of our lives are outside our control, including the affections and presence of others. His teachings remind us that our fundamental worth and our capacity for virtue are entirely internal. They cannot be bestowed or taken away by the presence or absence of friends. The lack of friends, from this perspective, can be a brutal but ultimate teacher in self-sufficiency. It forces you to confront a critical question: from where do I derive my sense of value? If it is from external validation, from the comforting noise of social acceptance, then its absence will feel like a death. But if you can, through disciplined practice, begin to derive it from your own character, your own actions, your own integrity, then you build a citadel within yourself. This is not a call to cold-hearted isolation. It is a call to a profound reorientation. The lack of friends can be the very pressure that forges a formidable inner strength. When you have no one to complain to, you learn to sit with your own discomfort. When you have no one to validate your decisions, you learn to trust your own judgment. When you have no one to distract you from your own thoughts, you are forced to become a companion to yourself. This journey inward is where resilience is born. Resilience is not the absence of pain, it is the capacity to endure pain and to grow from it. It is the muscle that is built through repetition of carrying a heavy load. The solitary walk, the quiet evening, the struggle with a problem that no one else can solve for you, these are the reps that build that muscle. In this silence, you may discover resources you never knew you had. You may find a creativity that only blooms in solitude, a clarity of thought that is impossible amidst constant chatter, and a peace that does not depend on the approval of a committee. Yet, we are, as Aristotle famously declared, social animals. This is an undeniable part of our nature. So, how do we reconcile our social nature with the potential for growth in solitude? The answer lies in intention. The lack of friends can be a passive state, one of loneliness and longing. Or, it can become an active, purposeful period of preparation. Think of it as fallow ground in agriculture. A field is sometimes left unplanted so that it can restore its nutrients, so that it can become fertile again for a future, more abundant harvest. This period without friends can be your fallow ground. It is a time to cultivate the very virtues that would make you a good friend to others. How can you be a vessel of loyalty if you have not tested your own? How can you offer honest counsel if you are not honest with yourself? How can you practice the strength of forgiveness for a friend's flaws if you have not first learned to forgive your own? This is the crucial work that often goes undone when we are constantly surrounded by others. We use the noise of social life as a buffer against the difficult work of self-examination. The lack of friends removes that buffer. It invites you, or rather, it forces you, to turn your philosophical gaze inward. Socrates' dictum, "Know thyself," becomes not an abstract ideal but a practical necessity. In the quiet, you can begin to map the landscape of your own soul, your fears, your desires, your prejudices, your hidden strengths. You can ask yourself, what kind of friend do I truly wish to be? What values do I hold so dear that I would seek them in another? This process is not about building a perfect, polished self to present to the world. It is about building an authentic, integrated self, with all its imperfections, so that when a potential true friend does appear, you have something real and substantial to offer. You are not seeking a friend to complete you, but to complement you, not to fill a void, but to share your abundance. There is another, more challenging dimension to consider. Sometimes, the lack of friends is a consequence of a conscious choice for integrity. The Roman statesman and Stoic Cato the Younger was known for his unwavering, almost rigid, commitment to his principles. He made few friends because he refused to compromise his virtue for the sake of political convenience or social ease. While his is an extreme example, it highlights a vital point. Sometimes, the crowd is moving in a direction you cannot, in good conscience, follow. To stand by your values in a world that often rewards conformity requires a different kind of strength. It is the strength to bear the weight of being misunderstood. It is the resilience to withstand the silence that follows when you say no to the wrong things, even when saying yes would grant you instant companionship. In such cases, the lack of friends is not a deficit of social skill, but a testament to the depth of your character. It means you have chosen the harder, lonelier path of authenticity over the easier road of social conformity. This is not to romanticize loneliness. The pain of isolation is real and should not be dismissed. The human nervous system is wired for connection. But philosophy offers us a way to transmute that pain into purpose. It teaches us that this very ache, this longing for a true mirror, is evidence of our capacity for high-quality connection. It is the proof that we are built for more than transactional relationships. The key is to channel that longing into constructive action, rather than letting it fester into despair. Use this time to become the person you would want to have as a friend. Read deeply, cultivate interests, engage with the world through art, nature, or service. This does not guarantee that friends will magically appear, but it does something more important. It ensures that you are living a rich, engaged life, with or without them. You are building a life that is centered on your own purpose and values, making you a beacon rather than a beggar. Ultimately, the lack of friends means that you are at a pivotal point in your own heroic journey. In the monomyth described by Joseph Campbell, the hero must often leave the familiar world of the village and venture alone into the forest, the desert, or the unknown. It is in this solitary wilderness that the hero faces trials, slays dragons, both external and internal, and gains the wisdom and strength necessary to return and contribute to the community. Your period without friends is your venture into the wilderness. It is your opportunity to face the dragon of your own insecurity, to discover the treasure of your own inner resources, and to build the resilience that will serve you for the rest of your life. When you emerge from this journey, and you will, because all states are temporary, you will not be the same person who entered it. You will carry yourself with a different posture. Your relationships will be born from choice, not from desperation. You will be able to love and connect from a place of wholeness, not neediness. You will have learned the most valuable lesson philosophy has to offer, that while friends are one of life's greatest blessings, the ultimate source of peace and strength must be founded within. The lack of friends, then, is not an end. It is a profound and difficult beginning. It is the silent, fertile ground where the seeds of your future character, your future resilience, and your future, more authentic connections are waiting to be sown. So, if you find yourself in this quiet space, do not despair. Listen, learn, grow. Become the friend to yourself that you seek in others. For in doing so, you are not just waiting for friendship, you are actively preparing for its truest, most enduring form.